all the fundamental basic needs for all 8 billion people. One side the homes foreclosure and the homes are just locked without people. The other side, millions are in the platforms homeless. One side, tons of food is getting wasted and getting destroyed to maintain the price. The other side, millions dying without food. Millions of clothes used only once is dumped into ocean because people don't know what to do with it. I have decided Kailasa is going to pick up a project. I call that project as Ishania, collecting these things which is getting dumped and wasted, which is in turn becoming hazard for the nature, and distributing it to the place and countries, people for whom it's a great boon. In this Chaturmasya alone, we will be able to bring 1 crore people out of poverty. Humanity has reached a level, we have evolved enough technology to provide food foreclosure, and the homes are just locked without people. The other side, millions are in the platforms homeless. One side, tons of food is getting wasted and getting destroyed to maintain the price. The other side, millions dying without food. Millions of clothes used only once is dumped into ocean because which is getting dumped and wasted, which is in turn becoming hazard for the nature, and distributing it to the place and countries, people for whom it's a great boon. In this Chaturmasya alone, we will be able to bring 1 crore people out of poverty. Humanity has reached a level, we have evolved enough technology to provide food, clothes, shelter, medical care, all the fundamental basic needs for all 8 billion people. One side the homes foreclosure and the homes are just locked without people. The other side, millions are in the platforms homeless. One side, tons of food is getting wasted and getting destroyed to maintain the price. The other side, millions dying without food. Millions of clothes used only once is dumped into ocean because people don't know what to do with it. I have decided Kailasa is going to pick up a project. I call that project as Ishania, collecting these things which is getting dumped and wasted, which is in turn becoming hazard for the nature, and distributing it to the place and countries, people for whom it's a great boon. In this Chaturmasya alone, we will be able to bring 1 crore people out of poverty. Humanity has reached a level, we have evolved enough technology to provide food, clothes, shelter, medical care, all the fundamental basic needs for all 8 billion people. One side the homes foreclosure and the homes are just locked without people. The other side, millions are in the platforms homeless. One side, tons of food is getting wasted and getting destroyed to maintain the price. The other side, millions dying without food. Millions of clothes used only once is dumped into ocean because people don't know what to do with it. I have decided Kailasa is going to pick up a project. I call that project as Ishania, collecting these things which is getting dumped and wasted, which is in turn becoming hazard for the nature, and distributing it to the place and countries, people for whom it's a great boon. In this Chaturmasya alone, we will be able to bring 1 crore people out of poverty. Humanity has reached a level, we have evolved enough technology to provide food, clothes, shelter, medical care, all the fundamental basic needs for all 8 billion people. One side the homes foreclosure and the homes are just locked without people. The other side, millions are in the platforms homeless. One side, tons of food is getting wasted and getting destroyed to maintain the price. The other side, millions dying without food. Millions of clothes used only once is dumped into ocean because people don't know what to do with it. I have decided Kailasa is going to pick up a project. I call that project as Ishania, collecting these things which is getting dumped and for whom it's a great boon. In this Chaturmasya alone, we will be able to bring 1 crore people out of poverty. Humanity has reached a level, we have evolved enough technology to provide food, clothes, shelter, medical care, all the fundamental basic needs for all 8 billion people. One side the homes foreclosure and the homes are just locked without people. The other side, millions are in the platforms homeless. One side, tons of food is getting wasted and getting destroyed to maintain the price. The other side, millions dying without food. Millions of clothes used only once is dumped into ocean because people don't know what to do with it. I have decided Kailasa is going to pick up a project. I call that project as Ishania, collecting these things which is getting dumped and wasted, which is in turn becoming hazard for the nature, and distributing it to the place and countries, people for whom it's a great boon. In this Chaturmasya alone, we will be able to bring 1 crore people out of poverty. Humanity has reached a level, we have evolved enough technology to provide food, clothes, shelter, medical care, all the fundamental basic needs for all 8 billion people. One side the homes foreclosure and the homes are just locked without people. The other side, millions are in the platforms homeless. One side, tons of food is getting wasted and getting destroyed to maintain the price. The other side, millions dying without food. Millions of clothes used only once is dumped into ocean because people don't know what to do with it. I have decided Kailasa is going to pick up a project. I call that project as Ishania, collecting these things which is getting dumped and wasted, which is in turn becoming hazard for the nature, and distributing it to the place and countries, people for whom it's a great boon. In this Chaturmasya alone, we will be able to bring 1 crore people out of poverty. Humanity has reached a level Humanity has reached a level, we have evolved enough technology to provide food, clothes, shelter, medical care, all the fundamental basic needs for all 8 billion people. One side the homes foreclosure and the homes are just locked without people. The other side, millions are in the platforms homeless. One side, tons of food is getting wasted and getting destroyed to maintain the price. The other side, millions dying without food. Millions of clothes used only once is dumped into ocean because people don't know what to do with it. I have decided Kailasa is going to pick up a project. I call that project as Ishania, collecting these things which is getting dumped and wasted, which is in turn becoming hazard for the nature, and distributing it to the place and countries, people for whom it's a great boon. In this Chaturmasya alone, we will be able to bring 1 crore people out of poverty. Humanity has reached a level, we have evolved enough technology to provide food, clothes, shelter, medical care, all the fundamental basic needs for all 8 billion people. One side the homes foreclosure and the homes are just locked without people. The other side, millions are in the platforms homeless. One side, tons of food is getting wasted and getting destroyed to maintain the price. The other side, millions dying without food. Millions of clothes used only once is dumped into ocean because people don't know what to do with it. I have decided Kailasa is going to pick up a project. I call that project as Ishania, collecting these things which is getting dumped and wasted, which is in turn becoming hazard for the nature, and distributing it to the place and countries, people for whom it's a great boon. In this Chaturmasya alone, we will be able to bring 1 crore people out of poverty. Humanity has reached a level, we have evolved enough technology to provide food, clothes, shelter, medical care, all the fundamental basic needs for all 8 billion people. One side the homes foreclosure and the homes are just locked without people. The other side, millions are in the platforms homeless.
Nityanandam, welcome back. Now, we'll be looking at the world today and the situation of poverty around the world. About 9% of the world, or 689 million people throughout the world, live in extreme poverty on less than $1.9 per day. 430 million people will be living in extreme poverty by the year 2030. That is 30 million more than the previous year's projections, an increase by 7.5% as revealed by the ODI. Now, as per UNDP, a United Nations body, 1.3 billion people live in multidimensional poverty. 50% of these are children and 32% of these are under 10 years of age. COVID-19 pandemic has doubled poverty rate in many parts of the world, and throughout the world, people are struggling to cope up with the pandemic. The poverty rate, which was around 21% in 2018, has become almost double, 42% in 2020. Average per capita household expenditure of extreme poor has become almost half and decreased to 45%, and they have been forced to adopt various strategies to cope up with pandemic. 48% have resorted to borrowing, 32% are relying on their savings, 27% have reduced expenditure on non-food items, 27% have changed their dietary patterns involuntarily, 16% have resorted to donation from friends and relatives. Now let us look at some of the facts around global poverty. 689 million people live in extreme poverty, surviving on less than $1.9 a day. Children and youth account for two-thirds of the world's poor, and women represent a majority in most regions. Extreme poverty is increasingly concentrated in sub-Saharan Africa. About 40% of the region's people live on less than $1.9 a day. Extreme poverty rates nearly doubled in the Middle East and North Africa between 2015 and 2018, from 3.8% to 7.2%, mostly because of crises in Syria and Yemen. Although countries impacted by fragility, crises, and violence are home to about 10% of the world's population, they account for more than 40% of people living in extreme poverty. By the year 2030, an estimated 67% of the world's poor will live in fragile contexts. About 70% of people older than 15 who live in extreme poverty have no schooling or only some basic education. 1.3 billion people in 107 developing countries, which account for 22% of the world's population, live in multidimensional poverty. About 84.3% of multidimensionally poor live in sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia. 644 million children are experiencing multidimensional poverty. COVID-19 pandemic threatens to reverse years of progress in the fight against global poverty and income inequalities, and it jeopardizes the future of a generation of children. COVID-19 drove an additional 97 million people into extreme poverty in the year 2020, according to World Bank estimates. Now, more than a year into the pandemic, the World Bank stresses that there is still much we don't know concerning its impact on global poverty in the year 2022. The impacts of COVID-19, rising global inequality, and soaring food prices are set to send more than a quarter billion more people into poverty this year, according to charity group Oxfam International. The combined hit may result in a total of 860 million people living below the $1.9 a day line by the end of year 2022, or 263 million more than the projection before the pandemic. That's equivalent to the entire population of the UK, France, Germany, and Spain combined. The monthly child poverty rate has increased from 12% in December 2021 to 17% in January 2022, the highest rate since the end of the year 2020. The almost 5 percentage point increase represents a 41% increase, which is equivalent to an increase in poverty, representing 1.7 million more children in poverty. The working poverty affects as many as 169 million youth in the world. The number increases to 286 million if the near poor are included. About 152 million young workers live in households that are below the poverty line. They comprise 24% of all working poor. Globally, large number of young people are out of school and engaged in child labor. About 1/10 of the total child population, that is 168 million children aged between 5 to 17 years, were involved in child labor. In developing countries, an estimated two-thirds of the youth are not fulfilling their economic potential. Poverty is widely believed to cause violence. The relationship between the two can be understood by the cycle of violence. Almost all the 39 countries that have suffered civil wars since 2000 have also had one in the previous 3 decades. People in these countries are also more than twice as likely to be malnourished, 3 times as likely to miss school, and twice as likely to die in infancy. The United Nations reports that countries that suffer large-scale violence lose almost 1% in poverty reduction each year. It is often claimed that the crime rate among poor people is rising. But is this poverty really the mother of crime? First and foremost, it is quite apparent that there are many poor people become criminal because they have nothing to lose. So they don't think about the consequences of their offenses. There are many poor people all over the world who have nothing to eat. The only way to get some food is shoplifting. In addition, the crime rate in poor countries is normally higher. According to UNICEF, 22,000 children die each day due to poverty, more than 3 each second. The time it took for us to read this paragraph, 3 more children died. Now, moving on to the next segment, we'll be looking at Kailasa's Ishania project. Kailasa's Ishania project is a response by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism to the problems of the world. Actual truth is, humanity as a modern society has already reached a state of technology and infrastructure to provide food, clothing, and medical care for all 8 billion people on planet Earth. Unfortunately, our decision makers have not reached the necessary conscious level to make the humanitarian decisions of providing basic needs for all 8 billion people. The survival needs for all 8 billion people doesn't depend on availability of housing and food, but rather on the conscious level of the decision makers. It is only consciousness we lack, nothing else. I will be looking at various aspects to understand how one side there is a surplus and wastage, and other side people are struggling for basic resources and millions are dying. For example, food wastage. One side we are dumping tons of food into the waste, into the oceans and landfills in order to maintain steady prices. On the other side, millions are dying of hunger. We'll be looking at food wastage, medical equipment wastage, clothing wastage, home and shelter wastage. Starting with food wastage. 1/3 of the global production of food gets lost or wasted. On the other side, 35 million affected by food poverty. 1/3 of the food produced in the world for human consumption every year, approximately 1.3 billion tons, gets lost or wasted. Food losses and waste amount to roughly 680 billion US dollars in industrialized countries and 310 billion US dollars in developing countries. 155 million people in 55 countries or regions faced a food crisis in the year 2021. Adding the number has now increased to 265 million due to COVID-19 epidemic. Even if just 1/4 of the food currently lost or wasted globally could be saved, it would be enough to feed 870 million hungry people in the world. 35 million people dying from hunger worldwide. A child dies from hunger every 10 seconds. Poor diets are linked to 20% of all deaths worldwide. Now let us look at medical equipment wastage. One side, 5.25 billion US dollars worth of discarded medical equipment versus 100 million people with no medical care. US medical waste will attain 5.25 billion US dollars by the year 2027. Among regulated and unregulated clinical waste, around 80 to 85% can be reused. Unused supplies in medical facilities are often discarded unnecessarily rather than stored for later use, adding even more unnecessary garbage being carted away to landfills. Reprocessing industry saving 15 million pounds of medical waste from landfills and reducing costs to hospitals and surgical centers by over 544 million US dollars. The world's poorest countries are paying some of the highest drug prices, with everyday medicines costing up to 30 times more than in rich nations. Half the world lacks access to essential health services. 100 million still pushed into extreme poverty because of health expenses. Now we'll be looking at clothing wastage. 59,000 tons of clothes are getting wasted on one side versus 1 out of 8 children affected by cloth poverty. 100 billion garments are produced each year, with 33% going to landfill. Every year, 59,000 tons of used and unsold clothing end up in Chile from all over the world. Every 10 minutes, an estimated 6,000 kilos of clothing and textiles are dumped in landfills. 1 in 8 children without basic clothes. 1 billion children worldwide are multidimensionally poor without access to basic accessories. 22,000 children die each day due to inhygiene around the world. Now let us look at vacant homes and shelters. One side, 42 million homes around the world are vacant. On the other side, there's an increase of 27% in homelessness. The world has millions of vacant homes. 42 million of its 426 million homes are vacant. Roughly 1 in 10 homes in advanced economies are empty. Japan has topped the list of nations with the highest percentage of vacant homes, with 13% of its dwelling not lived in. 1.3 million are in Canada. 27% increase in homelessness is likely due to the economic impacts of COVID 19. More than one third of all people facing homelessness services are women and children. For the last 5 years, core homelessness has been rising year on year worldwide. Homeless people are over 9 times more likely to take their own life than the general population. 48% of homeless people report having a physical health condition, 44% of them having mental health diagnosis, and 41% use drugs and alcohol to cope with mental health issues. Kailasa's aim and the vision of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism as guided to Kailasa is to raise the consciousness level in the world and bring to the fore the real issues facing the world, and through a specialized process of recycling, facilitating the movement of good quality, unwanted items from the haves to haves not. This Chaturmasya, 4 months from July to October 2022, alone 1 crore people should practice Samadhi to raise their consciousness, and 1 crore people should be pulled out of poverty. This is the mission and guidance of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism for Kailasa. There are threefold benefits. For donors, it is a great boon to provide to those in need. For the world, recycling removes a lot of hazardous material from nature, adding to a cleaner environment. For those in need, millions of people around the world will be alive and raised out of poverty, hunger, and inadequate health practices due to lack of medical facilities. It is a win-win-win situation. Over the last 27 years, Sri Kailasa has built a network of legal entities in 140 countries around the world, holding charity status in 118 of these countries. In many countries, Sri Kailasa's entities are registered distributors as well, meaning we can manage the entire process end to end. We will make full use of this network to collect clothing, medical equipment, and food material from the developed nations, transport them, and distribute it to countries and regions in need, with all transportation and distribution expenses sponsored by Sri Kailasa. Our process involves collection of clothing, medical equipment, and foodstuff from various countries around the world, followed by a quality control and processing of received goods, and finally distribution of good quality clothing, medical equipment, and food to the countries in need. Now let us look at some of the impact of Ishania project. In Madurai, India, almost 26,800 servings of food offered to homeless and hungry. In Jayatinagar, Kolinochi, Sri Lanka, 2,000 meals served at the Mahadev Swamikal Children's Home. In Kotagala region, Sri Lanka, 2,500 articles of clothing donated and distributed. In Hyderabad region, India, weekly Annadan feeding hundreds of poor villagers from around the region. In Tiruvannamalai, Tamil Nadu, India, non-stop day and night Annadan and healing sessions for hundreds of thousands of pilgrims circumambulating the sacred Arunachala. With this, we come to the end of the Ishania project. Now, moving on to a very important announcement. Paramashivoham level 3, starting from October 6th up until October 26th. Now we are at the day 10th of Paramashivoham level 3. After 3 years, the most awaited program of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Paramashivoham is an immersive 21-day awakening event to teach you the science of manifesting the ultimate consciousness. This Paramashivoham manifests the deeper experiences of 25 states of consciousness, vertical time zones, power manifestation. Join us for this grand event by registering at kailasa.org/Paramashivoham. So we are already at day 10 of Paramashivoham level 3. Anybody who is interested to be a part of this grand event, please register at the link projected kailasa.org/Paramashivoham. With this, we come to the end of today's free satsang hosting. Now, very shortly, we'll be starting. We will be witnessing and the upcoming alive satsang. So now let us please sit straight with our head, neck, and spine in a straight line and chant the Mahavakya. receive our beloved Guru, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasanidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Sri Nityananda Paramashivam, in the upcoming live satsang. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Nityananda Paramashivoham.
Om Nityanandeshwara Paramashiva Samarambam Nityanandeshwari Paramashiva Shakti Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. I welcome you all with my love and respect. I welcome all the living and practicing Hindus, everyone sitting with us on Navaratri. I welcome all of you with my love and blessings. Paramashiva's message directly from Maha Kailasa. Each manifestation of Paramashiva is one of the dimension which includes whole Paramashiva. Listen, Ardhanarishwara does not mean he is only Ardhanarishwara. Ardhanarishwara is the manifestation of complete Paramashiva. You should know that. Even if you achieve any one manifestation, you achieve Paramashiva. If you achieve Nataraja, you achieve Paramashiva. If you achieve Lingarupa, you achieve Paramashiva. You achieve Kalabhairava, you achieve Paramashiva. You achieve Hariharamurti, you achieve Paramashiva. You achieve any one form of the 64 manifestation, you achieve Paramashiva. So, many sampradayas of the Shaivite tradition center themselves on one manifestation of Paramashiva. For example, Aghoris center themselves on Mahakala Bhairava. Veerashaivites center themselves on Lingarupa and Veerabhadra. Each sampradaya centers themselves on one form of Paramashiva. Tantra sampradaya centers itself on Ardhanarishvara. So understand, when I give these basic principles, the foundation principles of Tantra sampradaya, and when you start living it, manifesting it, you achieve Ardhanarishvara directly, and Ardhanarishvara is Paramashiva himself. I'll give you foundational principles of Tantra, whichever can be taught openly. As I told you yesterday, many religions which teaches terrorism, killing of other people, bombing, they all teach their philosophy principles openly. But unfortunately, Hindus do not have right to learn their religion. That's a truth. Don't try to come here and dance in front of me. No. I am a proud Hindu. I am a free Hindu. Then get lost. Go and try to learn wherever you can. You need to know the truth. Stop being in the delusion you are a free Hindu and you know you have a freedom to learn about Hinduism. First of all, your medicine is banned, including India. Many of the Hindu medicines are banned, including India. Many of your religious practices are banned, including India. The racists, supremacists, used science, logic, rationality with the racist angle and eliminated everything. The core principles of Hinduism. All of you be very clear about it. First of all, Hindu food, Hindu medicine, Hindu cosmology, Hindu science, Hindu sexology, nothing as a legitimate value in any country other than Kailasa. Hindus also have, one section of Hindus have the meat eating lifestyle, but they have tradition, they offer that animal in homa or yajna or to the Kuladevata, then they cook and eat. Is this process legitimate in any country? Tell me. Halal is legitimate in so many countries. Is the Hindu meat making process, is it legitimate in any one country? Tell me. So whether it is Hindu food or Hindu medicine or anything Hinduism is neither legitimate nor allowed to be spread. That's a fact. So how much ever I can speak in open platform, that much I will reveal. Not because I do not have time or knowledge. Hinduism is banned. Be very clear, Hinduism is banned. How many of you know in many states of India, firewalking is banned? It's called Agori practice, black magic. Just 2 days before, one sadhu was practicing Jiva Samadhi science in Uttar Pradesh is arrested. Go and see the news. See, practicing Jiva Samadhi means they make a huge pit, like a 10 feet by 10 feet, and sit inside. Surely the person will not die because there is enough air. It's only sometimes 3 days or sometimes 9 days, like this. Surely that person's life is not in danger. And it's not that they put a concrete slab. No. They put bamboos. On bamboos, they spread mud so that the breathing is possible. So all of you should know Hindu practices are banned. Hinduism is banned in many countries. The core principles, see, westernized Hinduism is allowed, not the Hinduism. So, I will teach, I will reveal the truths, fundamental principles of Tantra as much it can be accepted in public place. Socially polite, politically polite, religiously polite, legally polite. Finally, with all this politeness, what remains? Bull has already become ox. You know the difference between the two. Bull has already become ox. As on now, only the castrated Hinduism is allowed to be preached or practiced. Sorry to use a strong word, but that is the truth. I have to tell you the truth. So don't blame me. Take responsibility. And I tell you, any country you get a diplomatic relation and get an embassy status, you can all gather in those your country embassies. From Kailasa, I will teach the Hinduism as it is. So you have a religious freedom. Embassy for Kailasa is for you to learn Hinduism completely with a religious freedom. Otherwise, I can teach only castrated Hinduism. Because that much only is socially allowed. Socially polite, politically polite, morally polite, legally polite. Religiously polite. With all this politeness, bull has become ox. Let me come back to Tantra now. Listen. Any action, whether breathing, thinking, eating, any action is expression of Shakti. Paramashiva Shakti. Listen. Shakti is embodiment of love. Shakti is embodiment of love. Realizing the love manifestation of your consciousness and entering into any action becomes manifestation of you, not manipulation of life. Listen, I will repeat. If you enter into the act of eating, knowing that it is because of your tremendous love manifestation, you are eating to strengthen your body, to celebrate life more and more. You will never manipulate food for taste. You will make sure food is always strengthening you. You will like, you will enjoy, you will be addicted only to healthy food. Same principle, apply it to music, to visions, visuals, to smell, to touch, and to sex. The same principle. Be very clear. World is created to empower you, to make you manifest the ultimate, not for you to manipulate. Listen. World is created for you to manifest Paramashiva, not to manipulate the world. In every level, celebrating the core love is Tantra. Yesterday I was explaining one more principle. There may be various reasons you have why you want sexual activity. Sometimes bodily compulsion, sometimes sudden hormonal surge, sometimes the kind of the warmth it gives, sometimes to confirm the relationship is still alive, sometimes even it's like a power. You declare power over someone. It can be various reasons. Many traditions guide you, teach you, ask you to do something and not to do something. But Tantra is a unique tradition. It changes only your conscious perception. The way you hold you and the way you hold the other person involved with you in the sexual act and the way you understand the sexual act, only these conscious perceptions are changed. Immediately, the action becomes yoga, path for you to have union with Paramashiva, cosmos. Listen. Precise truth. Precisely, I am describing the ultimate truth. With anything you have yoga, union, that becomes part of you. Whether the food you eat or the music you listen, visuals you see, or the smell you smell, or the touch you enjoy. Listen carefully. Here I want to tell you one great truth I learned from அருணகிரி யோகீஸ்வரா. அஞ்சோடு நீ எது பண்ணாலும் ஆறாவதாய் நீ ஆவாயப்பா. Once he told me, 5 பேர் படிப்பாளிங்க கூட நீ இருந்தினா 6வது படிப்பாளி ஆயிடுவ. 5 பேர் யோகம் பண்றவங்க கூட நீ இருந்தினா 6வது யோகியா நீ ஆயிடுவ. 5 பேர் தப்பு பண்றவங்களோட நீ வாழ்ந்தினா 6வது தப்பு பண்றவனா மாறிடுவ. 5 பேர் ஞானிகளோட நீ வாழ்ந்தினா 6வது ஞானியா மாறிடுவ. 5 பணக்காரங்களோட வாழ்ந்தினா 6வது பணக்காரனா மாறிடுவ. வெளியிலையும் உள்ளையும் ரெண்டுலையும் இதுதான் உண்மை. I'll translate. Listen. If you live with 5 rich people, associate yourself with 5 rich people, you will become a 6th rich person. If you associate yourself with 5 enlightened beings, you will become the 6th enlightened being. If you associate yourself with 5 people who are building body, doing yoga, gym, you will become the 6th person who builds body and doing yoga, gym. If you associate yourself with the 5 fools, you will become the 6th fool. If you associate yourself with the 5 negative people, you will become the 6th negative person. If you associate yourself with the 5 seekers, you will become 6th seeker. Arunagiri Yogeshwara told, this is what is the truth for inside and outside. These 5 senses, what they do and you associate yourself with them, you become the 6th of that. Whether outside 5 people or inside 5 senses. If your five senses are all the time seeking Paramashiva and you associate with those five senses, you will become Paramashiva. If your five senses are always seeking pleasure and you associate yourself with that five senses, you will always be the pleasure seeker. If your five senses are living Paramashiva and you associate yourself with that five senses, you will become Paramashiva. Listen. Tantra is all about making your five senses manifest Paramashiva. So by associating with your five senses continuously, you will become Paramashiva. If you associate with yourself with five yogis, you will become the sixth yogi. If you associate yourself with the five workaholic people, you will become a sixth workaholic person. If you associate yourself with the five lazy people, you will become the sixth lazy person. If you associate yourself with five retired people, you will become the sixth retired person. If you associate yourself with five conscious senses which is manifesting Paramashiva, you will become the sixth person manifesting Paramashiva. This is the foundation of Tantra. This is the foundation of Tantra. Listen. Constantly let your five senses manifest Paramashiva. Constantly let your five senses manifest Paramashiva. With anything you associate, you become that. The food which is higher conscious means cooked by higher conscious person, offered to Paramashiva by the higher conscious person and eaten, makes your taste sense higher conscious person. With each sense, the physical touch or the intimacy or relationship with the higher conscious person makes you higher conscious. This applies to all five senses. Now listen. The music, poetry created by higher conscious being, when you consume that, you reach the same higher consciousness. With this understanding, look at the whole life. Many times, naturally, you will not get a higher conscious person to touch or the experience the nearness. For that, Paramashiva gives the solution. For the time being, you and your partner can raise yourself to higher consciousness through the powerful cognitions about yourself and about the other person, about the sexual act. Then enter into the act. That is what is called tantric sex, tantric relationship. Elaborately, Paramashiva explains multiple tantric rituals to manifest various powers. Various powers, third eye power, so many other powers. Usually, I can say, I'm trying to generalize and give you the basic understanding. Usually, in tantric rituals, all the 5 senses are involved. And it is not like a wild as it is projected to you by the modern day racist narrators, the racist people who narrate Hinduism have abused Agora and Tantra Sampradayas. They have beaten it and killed it. And unfortunately, Hindus themselves fell for this divide and rule policy. These pure Vedantis, who can be very easily westernized, who can be digested by the races, they just stepped back and said, okay, after all, Tantra and Agora Sampradaya only is getting destroyed. What is there for us? Let us escape from this war. But you don't know. After destroying Tantra Sampradaya and Agora Sampradayas, the racists are not going to keep quiet. They are going to turn their birangi, turn their gun on you Vedantis, who kept quiet when other Sampradayas were destroyed. Once the Vedanta is destroyed, then they will move to the other Sampradayas. That's all. If Tantra Sampradaya is properly taught, world's biggest problem, depression and obesity, mental disorders, will not even exist. Not only they will be healed, they will not be passed on to the next generations. Listen, even India is suffering with obesity. I can't imagine that India is suffering with obesity. They are spending billions of dollars. It has become a load on Indian society and Indian government, I tell you. All you need is just only one thing. Popularize the habit of fasting. Hindus are known for fasting. Any practicing Hindu will fast once in a week for their Ishtadevata. Shaivites will do on Monday. People who worship Subramanya Kumara will do on Tuesday. People who worship Devi will do on Friday. People who worship Vishnu will do on Saturday. It used to be lifestyle. Unfortunately, the fasting was destroyed brutally by the medical opinions given by the racists to eliminate Hinduism from the common man's life. Just if the fasting was brought back, India can save billions of dollars. The money it is wasting on diabetes, the money it is wasting on high blood pressure, the money it is wasting on obesity, related other physical, mental disorders. I'm telling you from my experience. Due to my continuous travel routine for few years. I did not observe my fastings properly. Now, I got back to my fasting lifestyle. I tell you, I am in best way of existing. I should say that I am in my best form. Lankanam Parama Aushadam. Abhimanyu Banerjee is asking, are there any prerequisites to practice Tantra? Abhimanyu Banerjee, if you practice Tantra, you will be put in jail within 48 hours. So, the basic prerequisite to practice Tantra is you need to be in a place where Hinduism is legitimate religion. Tantra is a legitimate religion. So, Abhimanyu Banerjee, that is the prerequisite to practice Tantra. Abhimanyu Banerjee, you should know that. I know by your title Banerjee, you are from Bengal. Bengal is the land of Tantra, and sorry to say that now it's almost 99.999% is gone. Bowls are illegal. The Tantric sadhus you find in those days in Tarapit, cemeteries. Cemetery is not a right word. Smashana. Tarapit Smashana. And many smashanas of Bengal. 100 years before, you will find thousands of tantrics and agoris. Now, you can't even find one or two who are practicing the science. Let me give you the basic truths. So that at least the basic truths will not be killed, destroyed in course of this racist attack and genocide on Hinduism. There is not a single record any sadhu practicing Jiva Samadhi science died by accident or any mishap. But police arrests just, I think, last 2 or 3 days before, police arrested one sadhu who was practicing Jiva Samadhi science, including their guru. All the three were arrested. Guru, guru's assistant, and the sadhu was practicing. All three were arrested in UP. It means what? The next generation is going to completely lose the Jiva Samadhi science. Science of mastering the death. It is not actually suicide. It is mastering the death. Appa, I am feeling so blessed and fortunate. I am born 40 years before and I have mastered all these sciences. When the so-called law is not used to strangulate us, kill Hinduism, to destroy Hinduism, the law is being used. Before that started happening, fortunately, I was born and already trained by my gurus. Oh God. Actually, still, that Jiva Samadhi pit, which was dug for me, where I used to sit, is still there in Tiruvannamalai. It is not fully closed. When I was 10, 12, in those days, my gurus used to make me sit. I can tell you, I can just repeat the whole exact lines I heard from my gurus. Tiranda Guhayayin Veppambinju Dupamum Vilakennai Deepamum Vaikka Pattunul Asayum Alavirku Swasam Iyangattuvangum Swasanasam Marana Lakshanam Alla Moodu Guhayayin Oru Vidiyum Tirappu Guhayayin Oru Vidiyum Badala Guhayayin Oru Vidiyum Aga Moovidigal Moolam Swasam Meendum Meetkalam. These are the words I exactly heard from my gurus. I'll try to translate and give you the whole brief. My gurus used to put me in Jiva Samadhi practice. It's like I'm supposed to sit in unclutching absolutely without moving, and for certain number of days. In every level, the principles I am sharing will strengthen your consciousness, make you manifest more and more powers. Whether it is physical level, mental level, social level, spiritual level. In every level, Tantra strengthens you. Tantra makes you manifest the ultimate. Now I'll translate exactly what I heard from my gurus, which I was talking. If the cave is closed cave, a different kind of a smoke and light need to be used for regaining the breathing back. And if the cave is open cave, a different kind of a smoke and light should be used to regain the breathing back. If it is underground cave, a different kind of a smoke, and the light should be used for regaining the breathing back, not sensing the pulse or the breathing is not the sign of death. Listen carefully. Not regaining. Ordinary consciousness or ordinary breathing or the ordinary pulse does not mean that person is dead. With a proper herbs and method, the person can be brought back. All the signs is practically dying. I was fortunate to be brought up by my gurus who used all the sciences and trained me. Anyhow, let me at least put it on record. But one good news I have for all you guys. In Kailasa, because with the grace of Paramashiva, we have sovereign land, I will make sure all these sciences are kept alive as a living lifestyle. Not just as a bookish knowledge, not just as theories and ideas, as a living knowledge. There will be thousands of my disciples, sannyasis, mastered this Jiva Samadhi science. I'll do that. That's a good news I have for you guys. Let me now start describing. I'm actually overflowing, filled with the memories of my gurus and how they trained. They had a dog. They used to make the dog sit outside the cave, and the dog will regularly, once in 10 hours, will come inside the cave and bark. If I open my eyes, it will stay with me. If I don't open my eyes, it will run to my guru and get them. It was so well trained. I still remember. I just wanted to put it on record. The dog was also part of my guru's team training me. The dog's name is Money. Fortunately, we have a photograph of that dog. This is the dog with my grandmother. My grandmother was literally a Gupta yogini, means hidden yogini. And she lived with them and she was literally helping them, assisting my gurus to train me, to groom me. All those plants you see in that photograph are personally planted by me for my Anmartha Puja. Those plants were all the flowers for my Atmartha Puja. And I had a small temple built for me inside the backyard of the house. So that is the backyard. Anyhow. Listen. Make your 5 senses manifest Paramashiva. Live with those 5 senses, which is manifesting Paramashiva. You will become Paramashiva. That is what I mean by, if you live with 5 people who are manifesting Paramashiva, you will become the 6th Paramashiva. Same way, make your 5 senses manifest Paramashiva. Live with those senses. You will become 6th Paramashiva. That's it. The next principle I wanted to explain. Tantra is an intense tapas-centric tradition. For example, let me first describe the word tapas. Tapas means burning away all the obstructions to manifest Paramashiva. Tapas means, in Sanskrit, burning away. Burning away all the obstructions you have to manifest Paramashiva is tapas. For some people, their attachment to the taste will be stopping them, making them addicted to certain food, destroying the quality of their attention, memory, quality of consciousness, the quality of the mind, the mental health, physical health. Here, tapas means making that person taste, enjoy everything as he wants in a controlled condition, so that the patterns of the addiction, food addiction, taste addiction, greed for the taste gets burnt away. That controlled condition is what is the Guru's presence. Guru knows where he is stuck. He will be allowed to enjoy it, enjoy that addiction where he is stuck to the extreme, till that patterns are burnt once and for all, and he is free from that conditionings, from that patterns, from that karma, from that curse, from that suffering, pain. Whether you are addicted to certain taste, food, you are addicted to certain kind of the music, sound, you are addicted to certain kind of a visuals, like a porn addiction. Whether you are addicted to certain kind of a touch, not just sexual activity, even the other than sexual activity, the addiction to the touch, anything, of course, including sexual activity, for anything you are addicted and not letting your Paramashiva manifest in you. Not letting the unclutching intensely seep through your being. Then in controlled condition, that means under the presence and guidance of the Guru, you are made to go through certain actions which liberates you once and for all. That is what is exactly by the word tapas in Tantra. The good news I have for you is, by the grace of Paramashiva, we got an amazing sovereign land. So I will revive all this without putting any person, anybody's life in risk. See, I know this system. There is no life risk at all. It can be beautifully done with all the support, care, love, just like a flight crew, how the flight crew supports, makes your flight journey smooth, easy, comfortable, safe, along with the pilot. I just need to build my flight crew. The great news I have for you is, actually I have even built my flight crew. The team which is absolutely loving, caring, supporting, making sure the tapas happens in you and you are free. This is the good news and great news. The bad news is, it is so sad. The land in which this knowledge has blossomed, many countries disowning this knowledge, disowning this great science. 56 Hindu nations. Now all 56 have disowned. Only in Kailasa it is going to be alive. Actually, I am not happy about this monopoly. No. I want this knowledge to flourish all over the world as a legitimate science. I tell you, I have seen my gurus demonstrating this science. Somebody came, I still remember, somebody came to my guru with a cancer. My guru had, his name is Narayana Swami Tata. He had a ring with a black stone. He just removed that ring and put it in his hand and told, come back after 15 days. He did not give any medicine, nothing. He came back after the 15 days, the cancer disappeared. Simple science. He has stored in that black stone so much of intense energy of Shani. Shani is the lord of longevity. He just put that, and Shani's energy blessed him. He got healed. These are all replicable, demonstrable, practical science, cosmic science. It can be reproduced, reproducible, replicatable. It's not one incident or some rare happening. It is replicable, reproducible, simple science. It's not placebo effect. Be very clear. If it is more than 30 or 40%, then it cannot be called as placebo effect. I have seen my gurus doing this with 100% result. Meena Joshi is writing, Swamiji, do we have to become Adinavasi to do tapas under Guru's guidance? Meena Joshi, first thing. Now only I found a safe place by Paramashiva's grace and working it for the first batch sannyasis. Then after I have settled comfortably, absolutely safe, everything is settled, then I will open it for Sarvanyapita Ejamans, Sarvanyapita Kartas. Then I will open it to the public. Step by step I will open. That is what is practical possible. Whatever is see, I am a person who want to make this available for everyone. But I have to first safeguard the science and me and the first batch team which is getting trained in this science. Then I can open it to the next batch, next people, next team. He is the Narayana Swami Tata who was cured cancers just through a small stone. Just through small stone. But of course, energized. He was wearing it for quite a long time and his tapas, his energy is there in that. And he knows precisely his only problem is that what is the problem of the patient, and he gave that and became all right. Meena Joshi, your question is like, Swamiji, do we have to become Adinavasi to do tapas under Guru's guidance? Understand? If you want to become a soldier in any one country's army, naturally you have to become a citizen of that country. Only then the knowledge and the information can be shared with you. Same way, there are certain knowledge and information can be shared only those committed beings, only for them these channels, the higher energy channels can be awakened. Not for the onlookers or the people who try to do window shopping like guru shopping. Surely it cannot be given for them who are sitting and negotiating, who are trying to have bargain. But I will open it after the first circle. He is able to receive you all and care and support in the whole process and bring success. Success.
சடைநாதனின் திருவுரு தரிசனமே மறைபொருளாயிருந்து திரை விலகி திருவடி போகும் தரிசனம் பிறை சூடிய சடைநாதனின் திருவுரு தரிசனமே அருள் வேண்டி வேண்டி திரளான குஞ்சமுமை தேடி வரும் அல்லவா மறை நான்கின் பொருளுணர்த்த நானும் கண்டருள கையிலை உதித்ததல்லவா எல்லாம் போய் உடையனுள் உணர்ந்தே நல்லவா பொருளெல்லாம் தேடி உலகெல்லாம் போய் உடையனுள் உணர்ந்தே நல்லவா உலகை காத்தருளவே கையிலையில் தரும் என் தரிசனம் தன்னை தான் அறியவே இமை அசைவின் தீட்சை தரும் தரிசனம் புருஷர்களின் ஞானி யோகிகளின் தவமெனின் தரிசனம் அடியும் முடியையும் ஒன்றாய் காண்பதற்கு கையிலையில் தரிசனம் சதுர்வேத கோஷமுடன் நாத கீதங்களின் ஒளியில் தரிசனம் கையிலையில் தரும் நித்யனின் தரிசனம். தன்னை தான் அறியவே இமை அசைவிடும் தீட்சை தரும் தரிசனம். Sadashiva, Sadashiva, Nityananda, Sadashiva, 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 Nityananda, Sadashiva.
सुराधिपं नमस्कृत्य शशाङ्ककृतशेखरं कपालवालिनं देवं प्रणतोऽस्मि सदाशिवं प्रणतोऽस्मि सदाशिवं.
Sadashiva, Sadashiva, Nityananda, Sadashiva, 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 Nityananda, Sadashiva.
कालेश
I bless you all. Let's all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing, living Shuddhadvaita Saivam Paramadvaitam. The state, space, powers, being, superconsciousness. Kailasa, Maha Kailasa of Paramashiva. Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Eternal bliss. Nithyananda. Thank you. Be blissful.